basically, our speaker is actually live here in person. Okay, his name is Mr. Nadzuan Narawi. He's a mechanical engineer lecturer from Polytechnic Brunei, specializing in mathematics and thermal fluids. So he graduated from the University of Nottingham, UK, with a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering. And additionally, Nadzuan has been involved with engineering organizations such as the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, Brunei Group. So during his leisure time, Nadzuan is interested in artificial intelligence or AI, where he subsequently enhances his knowledge in TensorFlow and TensorFlow. This session is actually a workshop, so it will be more on how to create Android app and game with MIT App Inventor. In this workshop, a brief overview of MIT App Inventor will be shown, and you will also experience the process of app design and development. With this, you will be able to create your own Android apps by the end of the workshop. Okay, Nathan, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Ivy. Okay, so hello everyone. How are you all? Okay. Okay. Sorry about the echo. So hopefully those who are online are able to listen about this talk. Okay. So this talk is going to be a workshop. It's about maybe 20% of me explaining something, and the rest is actually you doing all of this stuff. Because by the end of this session, hopefully all of you have your own app in your mobile phone. So a brief overview, what is MIT App Inventor? It's actually a web application. It's a web software. So the software is actually available on the internet. And what you can do is actually you develop an Android app. So those who with iOS, I'm sorry, because the software that or the app that being developed is in APK, which is not compatible with Apple software. It's actually initially owned by it's actually initially owned by Google, but then now it's already owned by MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. But then Google kept on monitoring, kept on updating whatever this software have to be compatible with Android mobile phones. So how many of you here in the audience have background in programming? Raise your hand. Okay. Those who don't have any programming background, don't worry, because what we have is actually a block programming. It's kind of like an English language. You say, okay, if this happened, what should happen? You don't need a complex coding terms or syntax for this one. So this is one example of MIT App Inventor. So on the left hand side, you actually have the user interface or the function. So user interface, it can be the basic button, the text, or even the radio button select for selection. Other than that, you actually can select like what type of audio, what type of visual presentation you want to use. And on top of that, you can actually utilize some of the hardware capability like gyroscope or accelerometer in this one. In the middle here, you actually have the how the app going to look like in your mobile phone. So you can see here you are there is a mobile game for golf. So for this session, we're not going to create something like this. This looks very, very complex. But hopefully one day, once you already master this software, you can actually develop something like this. And on the right hand side, you have the component. The component shows what are the UI, what are the functions that you already embedded into your software or your app. And the further right is the properties. This depends on which component are you clicking. If you click on the screen, it will show what type of screen properties you want to change. Let's say alignment, tag, or even the size. So with this, why do we really need to use why you should use MIT App Inventor? The first one, you don't need to download any software. It's available on the internet. You don't need to download anything. That's the beauty part. The second thing, if you don't have any programming or design knowledge, it's going to be very easy because whatever you see on the screen, it will be as it is. And in terms of programming, you will not be punished by some syntax error. And the last one, all this project, it will be saved into the cloud, specifically your G drive. Because you don't need to download your project and then save it into your laptop. You can use from one laptop to another laptop as long as you use your own Gmail. Speaking of Gmail, these are the requirements if you want to use MIT App Inventor. First, you need a Gmail account. So I hope by you all joining this Google Developer Group DevFest, all of you have Gmail. Yeah. Then the second one, Android phone. How many of you have Android phones? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Those who have Android phone, that's an optional requirement for you, which is a QR code scanner app. This is actually optional, but for this workshop, you really need to use this one because if you don't use this one, that means you have to plug in your phone into your laptop to transfer the APK. By having the QR code scanner, you can just scan the QR code and it will download the APK. And the last one, this is very important. Hopefully, all of you here have passion, have interest in developing an Android app. Do you all have it? Yes? Yes, maybe? Okay, hopefully by the end, you will have this passion. So how are you going to access this MIT App Inventor? The first one, you are going to go to this site actually. So you're going to go to appinventor.mit.edu. Once you go that one, let me change my window. Okay, so you will have this kind of screen. So there are a lot of information. Usually MIT App Inventor is used for educator, from teacher to student. So same like what I'm doing now, I'm the teacher, you all are the student. Once you already goes into this page, what you're going to do, you are going to click the create app button. So if you click this one, it will prompt you to choose which Gmail account you're going to use. So you just choose whichever Gmail account you want to use. And once you already select and you already allow whatever requirement by the MIT App Inventor, you will be moved to a page something like that. So for my page, I already have some projects, so it will list down what are the projects that I already created. But for those who just use this one, it will be an empty page listing no project there. So everyone already entered to this page? Yeah, already? Done? Okay, so let's go back to the slide. Now we're going to talk about how you are going to develop a software. We are going to, for this workshop, we are going to develop two software, two apps. So the first one is just a mobile app where you are going to use it as a counter. So you all know like steward and stewardess use a clicker to count number of passenger, right? So we are going to create an app like that. The second app that we're going to create is a game. So this is going to be a simple game. So what it's going to do, it generate random number and you are going to type the number based on what being shown. If you type the correct number, it will give you point. If you type the wrong number, it will say try again, something like that. So now we're going to talk about the counter app. If you want to have a counter app, the most important thing you need is the number, right? Without the number, you're not going to count anything. Then the second thing, you want a way to add or subtract the number based on what you have counted. So we're going to think about each button. So the first add button, what you want to do, you want to add the value by 1. Then the second button on the subtract, what do you think it should do? Anyone have a guess? Anyone in the audience? What do you think it should do? So subtract, right? But this is one thing you have to consider. What happens if the number is 0? Are you going to subtract? So that means we're going to have these two functions. The first one, you're going to reduce the number. The second one, if the number is 0, you will make no changes in the number. So once you have this one, you have to think about what happens if you count 1,000 of people and then you want to recount again. You need to add a reset number. So with this reset button, you're going to reduce the number to 0, whichever you have. So let's move on to the MIT App Inventor tab. So what you're going to do now, you're going to click Start New Project. So let's call this counter. You can call whatever the app name you want. So first, click OK. So you will have the app here. Then it will auto open it. Based on our interface just now, we want the plus button on the top right. What you're going to do, you're going to drag this button, put it there. But it doesn't look really nice, right? It's one corner, one top left corner. If you want to adjust this one, go to your component, to the screen here, screen 1, you click it, and you're going to check for the property. You can see here you have align horizontal, align vertical. For align horizontal, you're going to choose center. Align vertical, you're going to choose center. You might think the button looks weird at exactly the center, but once you take up some of the component, it will be kind of like a pyramid like that. It's going from up to down. Moving back to the button. So what you're going to do, you're going to change the text here into a plus. So if you put it plus, you have something like this. If you think the button is small, let's say for me, okay, 14 is small. I can change it to 20. Enter. And if I think, okay, 20, although it's big, but the font is kind of a little small, what can I do? I can go to, let's see, where was it? Not this one. Okay, yeah, up here. So I can take font bulk. So I bulk it. So that's the first one. The second one, I want to put the number. So for the number, I choose label. Label, put it there. And then maybe increase the size to 20. So here's the thing about the number. You can either put the number 0, or for this case, I'm going to put it a placeholder, like number. So what I'm going to do later in my block programming, I want to initialize this number to 0 instead of I put here 0. Because let's say if you have a lot of number, it will be very, very confusing. So it's better you put some label to that and then you initialize it in block programming. Then the next one, you are going to put the minus button. So put the minus button, choose, then change it to subtract 20, and then font bulk. So here's the thing. Once I have this one, the next one is to create a reset button. But I don't want my reset button to be very, very close with the minus because I don't want to press minus and accidentally press reset. So what can you do? There are actually some other ways, but the easy, maybe the laziest way to do is you choose the label. So label, you put it no text. So maybe 0 like this. And then you're going to change the height to how much pixel you want. So let's say I'm going to put it 40 pixel. Let's check it. Okay, 40 pixel looks okay. There are some gaps there. So everyone already arrived to this part. So maybe Ivy, can you check if are they okay? So try to type on the chat box. Try to check whether the others online are okay so far. Okay, so how about the one at the order? Okay, so far okay? Okay, now the last part is to add the button reset. So put here and then maybe okay, 14 maybe okay for reset and then reset. Reset. So there you go. So what you have here are just the interface. Even though you download this app, there will be no function. So what you're going to do for this one, you're going to go to the top. You can see on the green bar here, the dark green bar. At the end, you have block. Once you click block, you will move to the coding part. But it's not a complicated coding. It's just you bringing the block. So what do I mean by this one? Let's say I want to make a control. So I want to initialize my, what was it? My number just now. So let's see screen one. Okay. So here's the thing. If you have something like this, you just press cancel and then you refresh it. So if sometimes there's some error in there. If there's some error, something like that, you're going to refresh and then you're going to go in to your block again and press create. Okay. So now there's no error. If you have that error, just click cancel and refresh. It tends to do something like that. So here's the thing. When I click this one, I'm putting a block there. But please go back to your designer component. You can see this one, some of the button. Because all of this button, it usually you cannot change the name. So that's why you have to know which button is which. This is why you have to follow from top to bottom so that you know, okay, button 1 is this, button 2 is this, and so on. So just now I told you when this is initialized, I want the number part to become 0, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to label. Then I'm going to find the change. What was it? Okay. Yeah, this one. So you can see set label one text to 1. So just flip it there. But here's the thing. If you see this X, that means it's still incomplete. So I want to change it to 0. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to, let's see, is it math? It's not under math. It's under text. Is it text? Yeah, this one. So I'm going to click this and flip it there. So here's the thing. If I don't put anything on the quotation mark, that means there will be nothing there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type 0. So that means once my app starts, it's going to be 0. So that's the first one. The second one is I want the plus minus and reset button to do something. So first I'm go to the button 1, which is the plus. So I want whenever I press 1, I want the text to change. So what I'm going to do, okay. So I'm going to go, okay, from the label. So set the text again. So where was it? Okay, text, yeah, this one. So I'm going to set the text. But here's the different thing. Instead of I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, I'm going to add it by 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to maths. So I'm going to put, okay, this one. So from here, I'm going to choose, okay, my label. Okay, label 1 text. Where was it? Okay, so this one. So that means whichever number I have there, label 1 text, I'm going to add it by 1. So let's see. Okay. I'm going to add it by 1. So yeah, this is the one that I'm searching for. Okay. So let's say 0, you can actually swap between this one and this one. But for convenience, it's better use the blue one actually. So because of this one, I'm not going to use it. I can just remove it like that. So I have this one. Then the next thing I want to do is to do for the minus part. So let's go to the minus button. So here's the thing about the minus button. I want it to be, I want it to reduce the number by 1. But once it reaches 0, I don't want it to do anything. So what you're going to do, you're going to use a logic. So the logic is, okay, let's see, it's not this logic, it's, yeah, control. Okay. So I want it to have two functions. If this happens, this will happen, or this will happen. Okay. So I'm going to choose this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to math, which is using this one. So I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to take the label text. The label text here, I put it there. And I want it to be equal to 0. So what I'm going to say, okay, if the number is equal to 0, it will not do anything. So that means because I don't want it to do anything, so that then I just leave it blank there. Let's say, okay, if it's not 0, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to label 1, set label 1 text. So what I'm going to do is kind of reverse the plus part. So I'm going to math. Instead of I'm doing the plus, I'm taking the minus. So I'm going to go label 1 text. So where is the text? Yep. And then I'm going to take the math and put minus. Okay. So that's for the second button, which is the minus. And the last part is for the third button, which is the reset. So the good thing about this block programming, you can put your block anywhere. I can put it here as long as it's within the container. So from here, I'm going to replicate from this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click it. I'm going to duplicate.
People over the chat said you're going a bit too quickly.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So now, okay, to recap it, okay. The first part is once you start your app, it will set the text to 0. Then the second one, you're going to add the number. So you're going to click on the plus. and then the number will add by 1. For the second button, you will check whether your number is 0 or not. If your number is 0, that means it will not do anything. But if your number is not 0, it will reduce the number by 1. And for the third button, it's kind of the same like how you initialize. You just reset it to 0. Okay, so for the audience here, are you all okay? So you already reached this part? Okay, how about the one viewing online? Are you okay or are you lost already? So far, so good. Okay. So now is where you're going to build your app. So you already have your designer part, and then you have your block programming. So you want to download your app. To download your app, you're going to click on build. So there are two options. The first option is you save the APK into your computer and transfer it to your mobile. Or the second one is you click on this one. So what you're going to do, you have a QR code, scan it to download your APK. So first, so because I'm going to use this one, so I'm going to click that one. So what will happen, it will compile the project. Once the project is already compiled, the QR code will appear. So here's the thing, do not scan my QR code on the screen. Scan your own QR code. Okay, so it's going to take time actually to compile all of this. Okay, so in the meantime, you can wait first while I check the audience. Okay, so you will have your QR code here. So what you're going to do with this QR code, you are going to scan it and you are going to install it. So here's the thing about this QR code. Because it's a third-party app, you might need to lift up some of the restriction of your Android phone to download the third-party app. Because some of the phone have some restriction, so if you have this kind of restriction, disable it for a while first so that you can install the app. Okay. So let's check here. Okay. So in the audience here, one of you already able to do it. The others, hopefully online, you also able to download your own app, install it, and play it around. Okay. So how about those online? Okay.
I've asked them to answer it.
No. Okay. So any questions so far in the audience? Okay. So just now, one of you asked, is there any debugging to do for this one? So the thing about this one, because it's actually targeted for primary school students, this MIT App Inventor. So that's why for primary school, they don't do thorough debugging. It's just to develop an app. So this one, if you want to debug, you have to build it and then try it yourself on your phone. Okay. So if no question, let's go for the game part. So let's move back to the slide. So this one you already developed it. The next one is we're going to develop the game, which is you are going to type the number and you will get the number and it will give point. But it's going to be boring that just the game appear, right? We want to have a starting screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a two screen. I'm going to give a title of the game and I have a start button. So the start button actually is going to move to the game screen once I click it. That's the first one. The second one is how the game interface going to be. So I want to have a number there. And then I want to have a tag that tell the player that you have to type the number shown above. And then the text box is where you type the number. Then you have a confirm button. So whatever you type, you press the confirm button and it will show it. And then you want to have a point. There's no point for you creating a game, but you don't calculate any point or don't give any reward. And the last one, a try again text. So you can see all of this information just now I tell you, but except for the confirm button. The confirm button, there are two logics happen. The first one, if I type the wrong number, what will happen? If I type the correct number, what happens? For the wrong number, it will flash a try again button, a try again text. So the try again text, initially, it will be invisible. So once you type the wrong number, it will appear. But once you type the correct number, the number above will change, your point will be added, and the try again will be invisible again. So look good, right? So everyone okay with this one? But here's the thing. We need to consider one more thing. Once you press back, it go back to the menu. So with this one, we are going to create our second app. So for this one, I'm not going to build it. Hopefully you can build it during your own time. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start a new project. So let's say game number. Okay, game number. Okay, then press OK. So you're going to wait and it will create a new interface. So same also, I'm going to align horizontal center, align vertical center, so that it looks much more elegant. Then I'm going to put the title first. So title will be the label. Then here, to make it bigger, so I'm going to choose something like 25. And then give it some bold. And going to give it game, let's say game number. So this will be the title. So you have this one. Then the next one, you are going to give button to start it. So button, you just put start. So start. Okay, everyone okay with this two so far? So the text, you just don't need to match it as what I have. You can call whatever the title of your game, whatever you want. You can put start at begin or play, something like that. But here's the thing, you cannot make the button go to the next screen if you don't create a new screen. So what you're going to do, you're going to go up here, the dark green bar, you can see screen 1, next to it add screen. You click it, so the default is screen 2. So maybe we can use just screen 2. What?
Also, what lines the person.
Okay. Okay. So once you're already on this screen, you want the game interface to appear. So again, to make it more beautiful, everything center. The next one, I want to put the number to get. Put the label and then put it here. Then give it maybe 30. No, maybe 25. Yeah, 25 is okay. And you give the label number. At least you know what are you doing then. Then the second one, I'm going to put another label. So another label, this one 14, what I'm going to say, type the number above. So this will be the instruction of the game. Type the number above. Next is the text box. So text box, you can just get it from here. Let's see, where was it? Not text. Here, yeah, text box. So text box, put it there. So the text box, what you're going to do, you can see that a hint here. A hint is almost the same like how you do like username, it show hint username, right? Or hint password, that kinda of kinda like transparent text showing what is the clue. So this one you can say number. So at least you know you're going to type the number there. Then you need a confirm button. Based on this one, then same also, you put a button and change confirm. So everyone in the audience, okay so far? How about the one in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you have this one, now we are going to talk about the point system. You want to say, okay, this is your current point, this is the number, and then the try again. So for the first text, you want to say, okay, your point. So this will be a text, and then you type your point. So you're going to put your point. Do not put your number here, because if you put your number here, it will be very difficult for you to adjust and then to give the value whatever you want, because it might change some of the text there. Then you go to label again, put your point. So this one point. So it will be a value there. So this point will be value. So when you initiate, it becomes 0. But if you get the correct number, it will add up. And lastly, what do we need to put? Try again. So here's the thing about try again. We're going to make the label a little unique. So we're going to put here, we're going to put the text try again. But here's the thing. From here, it's not taking up your attention very well, right? So we're going to put bold there, and we are going to change the text color. So change it to red. So at least people can see it. Or much better, increase the size, maybe 18. So you know, okay, you have the wrong number, try again. So this is the second screen interface. Everyone okay with this one? So how about the one online? Okay, so far? Now we are going to go back to the first screen. Because the first screen, if we don't do anything with the block programming, that means it will not go to the second screen. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to block, and you're going to go to button. So you want the start button to bring you to the next screen when you click it. So for this one, you go to control. So control, you can see down here. Let's see. Yeah, open another screen. So that means it's going to bring you to the next screen. But what is the screen name? So just now I told you, just use the screen too, right? So what you're going to do, you're going to go to text, go to the top, and you use this quotation mark. The quotation mark, you're going to type screen 2. So if you're not changing your screen name, it will be screen 2. But if you change to whatever name it is, you have to change the name based on whatever the screen name it is. If you're not sure whether it's correct or wrong, you can click here and you check, okay, I want to move to this screen. So it's the same name, that means it's correct. Now moving on to screen 2. The first thing is when I start the screen, I want the number to appear. I don't want it to do something else and then it appear. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to screen, then I'm going to initialize the screen. Once I initialize the screen, I want the label 1, which is the number. So just now you put the number there, right? I want the number to randomly generate a number, whichever number it is. So I'm going down here, set label to here. So from here, what you're going to do, you're going to go this one. You can see, right? Random integers. So what it's going to do, once you started, it's going to change whichever number between 1 and 100. But if you want to make a little challenging, you can go from 1 to 1000 or whichever number you want. You can even go a million, up to you. Or maybe I can do something like this. I can do from 1000 to 9999. This is a 4-digit number. So I have this one. Then I need to think what's the another button I need to do. The only button, if you go to designer, is only confirm. So that means I need to add a confirm function there. So I go back to block. I click the button and I choose click. So what it's going to do, it's going to check the number in your text box. Is it equal or not? So it's the same, you need the if, then, and else. So what you want to see, if the number in the text box is equal to your label number. So this one, you go to math and you choose the equal sign. And then you're going to take the label, and not the label text, you're going to go to the text box. So what you're going to do, text box text, this one. So you want to see whether this text is equal to your label text. Okay, let's refresh. What we want to do if the text box have the same number as the label text. Anyone remember? What do we need to do? If the number is the same, what do we need to do? Okay, so you want to add point. So speaking of adding point, you can see this one I didn't initiate the points, right? So that means the point just now is label 4. If I'm not sure, I can go back and check. Okay, it's label 4. So that means I need to go label 4, set text. Okay, so set text to 0. So I have this one. But then once I get it correct, I want to add my point. So I go to set label for text. Wait, yeah, this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the point. So at the point, putting label for text, whichever point I'm currently having, and I'm going to add it by 1 point. Okay. So the next one is what I wanted to do. Anyone remember? So I wanted to generate another number, right? So what I can do, I can click here, I can duplicate it. Then I'm going to put it here. So that means it's going to change the number. But here's the thing. Remember the try again text. We haven't initialized, right, the try again text. So if you want to initialize the try again text, go back to label 5. You can see visible here. But during the beginning, we want it to be invisible. So switch it off. Then we go to block. Okay. So this one, let's say after, I don't know, 5 try, the try again will still appear, right? We want once you have the correct number, it will disappear. So that means you have to go to label 5 and then you check, where was it? Okay, this one. So you go here, put it down here. So if you think about visibility, it's either true or false. So since we get the correct number, we want to change it to false. If you're not sure whether what are the options, you can go to control. Is it control? Logic. Yeah, it's logic. Okay, true or false. So you change it to false. So everyone clear so far? But we have to think also, because this logic or this software, it will follow according to what you want. What happens if you press, if you type the number and you press confirm? The text box will still have your number. It will not disappear. So that means every time you type, then you have to backspace, type again, backspace, type again, backspace. We don't want that to happen in our game. We want it to be convenient. Like once you type, it will disappear. So we're going to go to the text box. So we are going to set the number. So, okay, this one. So we're going to put the text to an empty text. So empty text, just take the quotation and put it there. So far so good? So any question so far? No? No? How about, okay, how about the one? Okay. So that is when you guess the correct number. But what happens if you get the wrong number? Anyone remember? What happens if I get the wrong number? So the first one, the try again text will appear. But also instead of this one only, I want the text box to disappear also. I don't want whatever number I have there is still there, then I have to backspace. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate these two. So duplicate this, putting here, and duplicate this, putting here. But here's the thing, I want it to be true, not false. So I click here, change it to true. So that means it's much better, right? It kind of looks like a game. So from here, actually, you actually have your complete game. But we have to remember something. What happens if someone press back? We don't know what will the user do, right? What happens if they play and they press the back button? So what you're going to do? You're going to go to screen 2. So screen 2, you can see here. What happens if you on screen 2, someone press the back button? So here's the thing. The back button, you want to erase whatever you have on screen 2. So you go back to screen 2. So you're going to search down here. Okay, let's see where was it. Okay, it's actually the, oh, is it control? Yeah, I think it's control. Yeah, this one. Okay, close screen. So that's what happened. So that means when you on screen 2 and you back press, it will close only screen 2. But instead of closing the whole app, it go back to the menu button, which is the title screen. So now you have a complete game. So what you can do now, if you want to download the game, you can press on build and just click on the QR code for APK. For this one, it will take more time because you have a lot of block programming, you have two screen and a lot of interfaces. So be patient on this one. So in the meantime, I'm going to go around and check around.
Yes, that or
Okay. Just to tell the audience online, just scan your QR code because it's actually much better that you scan the one that you develop rather than you scan the one I developed. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yep. Okay. So while you waiting and testing your project, so let me go back to the slide. So this two apps you already developed. So that means you already have some experience in app development. So this one just now I told you guys that it's actually catered for primary school, this MIT App Inventor. But actually it can do more than that. Okay. So one of the example, let's see. Okay. So this is actually in German Malaysia institution. So what actually you see on the top right hand corner, that is actually a teacher from ITE Singapore, Alex. So what he do actually, he create the app using MIT App Inventor. And from here, he actually integrate it with IoT. So what the app do actually, from your apps also, the MIT App Inventor, you can integrate RFID scanner. So from this RFID scanner, you can scan based on whatever criteria you want, and it will give a receipt about your order. So let's say you scan the green RFID, it will tell, okay, you order green. Once you already ordered this one, and at the bottom, you can see a video there. So that is the assembly line. Once you scan green, it will try to assemble the green part. So this is how functional and powerful MIT App Inventor is. You can integrate it with IoT. So for you guys, what's the next step actually? For the audience and also those online, what's the next step for MIT App Inventor? So these are some of the ideas. The first one, keep exploring MIT App Inventor. The one I show is just the basic function. It actually have a lot of functions like accelerometer, gyroscope, barcode scanner, RFID scanner, and so on. The second one, try to develop your prototype. If you have an idea for app, try to develop it with MIT App Inventor. It's free, you don't need to install anything, and you can do it quickly. Third one, you can publish your game and app in Google Play. For this MIT App Inventor, they allow you to publish it through this platform. And the last one, hopefully all of you get inspired and you develop your own prototype for either today's DevFest or the upcoming DevFest. Hopefully we can find more developers and it might start from all of you guys. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. Okay, so any questions?
one question.
Yeah.
How long does it take for Google app to publish the app?
Oh, okay. So that one is kind of difficult to answer because this one is based on the function of your app actually. So if you talk about your app that maybe integrate GPS, integrate some of the Google function, it might take time. Because if you're going to integrate GPS into your mobile app, they will check whether the password or the API key is protected. If it's not protected, that means it will not allow you to publish it. because Google Play actually they take our privacy as important, is their top priority. So that's why whatever API key, whatever password we put in our app, they will check it, and if it's visible, they will not publish it. If you create a simple app like the counter, probably it might take few minutes.
This is over the counter.
The counter app, because based on this one, it doesn't have a lot of functions. It just have a plus, minus, and return, and you don't have any password there, right? So it should be few minutes or few hours, depending on how the developer in Google doing.
A few minutes, huh? Like the counter app that we
Yeah.
did.
Because that's the thing about the app that we're going to publish. Because if you're going to publish it to Google Play, they will try over different Android devices. So let's say it will give a statistic. They will say, okay, about 20 of the devices they test, 10 of them are capable to run your app. Then the another 10 might have a problem. If let's say the another 10 have problem, they will not publish it. They want throughout all the Android devices it function properly. Once that okay, then they will check for any password, any API key exposed. If any of this exposed, they will not publish it, and they will tell you to change it or maybe to encrypt it. So, any more questions? Excuse me? For MIT. Okay. So MIT App Inventor, in terms of graphics, they don't have a wide range of graphics. It usually those generate graphic only. But if you want to add image, you can actually add image to it. So I think probably in terms of graphic, it's just like the generic color scheme and image. That's all. Okay. Because in terms of importing one project to another, I haven't explored it yet. So maybe you can explore it because for this one MIT App Inventor, it's web application that it has its own FTP. So I'm not sure whether they accept importing from one project from other project site to MIT App Inventor. Maybe you can try to explore it around. Yeah.
What's the app is published that it's for an Android version? Only the new one.
For this one, okay. For MIT App Inventor, it usually depends on the function. If you take the generic function like just now the counter app, you don't need like accelerometer, that one. So that means it can support for all devices. But let's say you need a gyroscope, you add the gyroscope function. So it will only compatible with the Android phone that have the gyroscope function. So that means the older Android devices, they are not able to use it.
It's the newer one.
If the generic function, all version can use it. But let's say if you use like the newer features, hardware features, that one, it depends on the devices. Okay. Any more questions in the audience? No? Okay. So I think with that, I will conclude the workshop. So thank you very much, those in the audience and those online. So hopefully keep developing. That's my hope. Okay. Thank you.